Well, okay, so I've got this idea. I'm going to switch my camera down so you can see my hands, and Seth is going to keep his face on, and I hope this is going to happen because we'll see. I have an idea.
What a funny coincidence that I'm on today and you happen to have all my products there.
Well, I know. I've got them all
happen?
out. It's, yes, it's such a coincidence, such a quinky dink. So I wanted to play with your products, with your stencils. And in the event nobody's seen them yet, these are your 3 new designs that are super fun. And I'm going to play with them because I like them quite a bit. There's a lot of opportunities here to do fun things. I want to show you some of the stuff I'm doing with these stencils using Seth's products. I was playing around over the weekend with the stencils and this old paper I have. So this, you could use book paper for this. I was very curious how Seth's spray inks would be on a super absorbent paper, and I kind of liked this idea. So I'm going to show you how I created some of these. And these are his Eyes Ink dye sprays, which, if you guys know me, you know that I'm not a spray girl because I've always got the spray bottle turned the wrong way. I spray myself in the face. I do stupid stuff, and I don't mean to. And I really like these because they do always spray. They don't get clogged, so that's a really good thing. The other thing is that the colors are gorgeous, and they dry really fast. So here is what I have been doing with these. I first just put down a few spritzes of this. Then I'm going to drizzle it. Now, if you just drizzle like this, I'm going to tell you a little secret. These have an effect very much like the Distress Oxide, and you can play with them and get some cool results. But what I'm going to do is lay a stencil down on top, okay? So I'm basically using the spray as if it were watercolor. And then I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to put it down on top of that and make a little Sammy.
I love
and
Sammy.
I'm going to, what?
I love Sammy.
I know, right? And I'm going to brayer it down because I don't want to take a lot of time with it today. If I was at home, I would probably let it dry, maybe even overnight, because they don't, this is a really nice spray in that it doesn't dry down and like get petrified with the stencil. Okay, so when you pull the top one up, you've just got a little bit, which is kind of cool. Then the bottom one you pull off, and I've got like this kind of almost like a wall sort of effect that I really like.
I love that.
And it's because of the absorbent paper. I really like the absorbency of the paper. I mean, you can see it is in the paper now. The paper has completely sucked it up. Now
it's
this
so
one,
simple too.
What?
It's just so simple.
I know, right? It's just like, really? I don't know. I think it's super cool. Now this one you can still keep doing something with. Let's put this is one of my favorite colors, this blue one. I know it's Mary's fave too.
Mary likes blue?
I know. You would have guessed, right? Who would have guessed? So I think seeing as this is working so well with the porous paper, I bet you could do this with vintage book pages that are really porous, which you would get that nice text in the background. I had just had all this paper and I was kind of, oh, look, see, it didn't even pick up anything there. That's fine with me because I love that. Oh, that didn't get as interesting as I thought, but that does not mean anything because we can do stuff later. Actually, it is kind of cool.
I think it looks pretty good.
It looks pretty cool right there, doesn't it?
It really does.
I think it does too. All right, I'm going to set these aside.
Is there still wet on the back of the stencil that you can use?
There is.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
See if we can do that. There we go. So we get a little bit more there. So I love making these sandwiches, and I was doing quite a bit of playing with this before we came on the air. And I was also using tissue to pick up some of the excess off the stencil. Now, look at this one that's ripped, and you might wonder about that. That's Sterling. He thought this was very interesting. He wanted to get involved with the whole spray process. He might have some of this on his feet.
For those of you who don't know, Sterling's the new employee.
He's a useless employee, boy.
He's got a tail.
He's got a tail. He is useless. But I don't know, this one got so crisp. It just really
great.
Thrilled me, because what I want to do with this one is just tear it into these little strips. And because I love having a piece like this.
That's great.
In with my collage stash. And even like, I'll probably tear this all down, you know, because for me, when I'm grabbing for something real quick, this maybe looks super simple, but it's so nice to have some super simple ingredients in your collage stash. And I love that, because when I'm pulling out blues and greens, I'll grab these, I'll grab this. I might even grab one of those more deeply saturated ones. I mean, there's a lot of options there. And I just think it's fun. Fun.
I like that you're using the stencils either through technique or through tearing in a way that makes them your own. You know, you're using segments, you're making them blurry, so they're not necessarily gonna see your art and think me. They're gonna still think you, and I think that's just so important.
So what is the deal with these little okay, so these are your typical shapes. I would say not typical, but you've always done a lot of crosses, the circles, and marks.
The crosses,
but
the
these are a little bit different from some of your other shapes.
Yeah, so all the shapes that are in these new stencils were drawn from either journal work or artwork that I've made recently. And it's been interesting over the past year, I'd say, among the many changes I'm going through, is I have kind of shifted a little bit away from circles, which I thought would never happen, and I've shifted to more marks that tend to look a little bit more like diamonds or
interesting.
Gary says almost mathematical. Lots of people have said that. That was not my intention. It was not. I wasn't even aware of that until I got comments.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, now they totally look mathematical to me. But
I totally see it. Yeah. I had prepared some pages with some of your eye products and some of your paper artsies. So I'm just putting your midnight paint, which is one of my all-time favorite paint colors. Love this color.
That's a really great color combination that you've just done. The blue and the orange, of course, across on the color wheel. It really looks phenomenal.
Well, that was done with Niagara Falls and your orange pearl.
Oh yeah, that's the sheen.
Tangerine. Oh, here it is. These
tangerine.
Two, Niagara Falls and tangerine, and really just pulling it with a scraping tool, just like gently kind of pulling it across. Because you can see I've left a lot of the white still showing, and for me, then this is so simple. It could not be more simple. Let me I'll just grab a piece of paper real quick, because just don't overthink it or try to make it so complicated. You know, it doesn't need to be all that, right? Just grab some Niagara Falls and just pull it. You can use this, you can use a brayer, you can use whatever. Look at how the marks are. And see, I love it when this is the kind of thing I like. We've got some density of color, then we've got it spreading out, and that is what makes it interesting. And then just squirt a little bit of that orange on there, and then gently pull it across so you get these, I don't even know what you call that, almost like a peeling look, you know?
Oh, funny you're talking about a tangerine and peeling.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I'm bummed. I mean,
I also love the fact that the paper artsy paints are flat and matte. and the pearly has the sheen, which is catching the light. And so you have that opposite, not only in color, but you also have the opposite in terms of that surface feel.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I didn't think of that.
Intuitively, you did.
Yeah, but then you just pop it with a darker color, because if you look at your values, you know, if you ever wondering about values, the way to know about your values and the lights and darks is to just simply squint at it. And you'll see the lighter areas will pop forward as you're squinting and the darker areas will not. So when you look at just this plain, not a lot of value changes there, the white paper being the most. This one doesn't have much white paper, so you need something either dark or light, and midnight is the perfect pick there. Or you could have done heavy cream, but my pick's almost always
No, the
midnight.
midnight
So.
with using the orange. The
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
just so pretty. And I just love these parts. Love, love, love. So let me show you something else that you can do. Let me let this dry for 1 minute, and then I'm going to show you something else with that. And I did some black pages. And this is heavy cream and that blush pink. Kind of the same preparation.
That looks gorgeous. I see some scratches too.
Yeah, and here's what's so weird is the heavy cream went a different color on this than I might have expected on the black. And then I also dragged a little bit of, where is it? This guy. What is this color? I love this one.
That's Whiskey Frost.
Whiskey. I drug a little bit of whiskey on this too. So Whiskey Frost, rather, not the actual, whiskey. But not the actual whiskey. But this is just ready for something. And I thought we might take a blast to the past today.
Ooh,
how about
my first stencil?
This is Seth's first stencil. And I love this stencil. To this day, I love this stencil. There's so many things about it I love. I love these numbers here. I love this section of these little guys over here. This section of smaller numbers. I mean, if you've never looked back through Seth's stencils with us, you need to take a gander back and look at these. And I wanted to use this diamond eyes ink with this because I think it might be really pretty. I think
black coffee.
Black coffee. Oh, yes, yes. I did put these scrapers on my Amazon shop, you guys. Somebody had asked me about them before, and it's a pack of 4, and I think they're only a few bucks or something. I think they're also a hardware store product if you don't want to use Amazon, but they are really just nice to have on hand. Okay, so I'm going to go over this section. I'm going to get some of these other marks too. And look at how pretty that is.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, it's just so pretty, right? Yeah. Love, love, love. And this is typically when I would wipe it off because there's a little bit of texture with the diamond. So, but I want to go back over here and get some of these numbers too. I love this color. Love this color because it's not black, it's not brown, it's just this really cool.
It's a really nice neutral that's a little bit different.
It is. And it's got a little bit of glitz, but it's not crazy. It's not over the top. So I just drug a few little random parts over there. And then for me, this is something that I will just have in my stash and probably rework different parts of it later on. So, but again, the color combination is not what you would expect. I mean, who would expect to be using a blush color with this? I love that. And with the cream popping.
Yeah, it's actually a really unique, it's a really unique color combination. I don't know that I've seen it often, if at all. And also, I want to highlight to everybody who's watching, using it on the black page, the black background, it completely changes the feel of it. And I encourage people, to use black cardstock, or I often black gesso paper. It just changes everything.
It does. And that's the reason I wanted to use it. This is that black text weight paper that I buy, and I love this stuff. I'm going to use another oldie and goodie if I can find it. This is another one of my favorites, this Inside Out stencil. Oh my God, I love this stencil.
That's one of my favorites too, I have to say.
I know. It's just because for me, I don't know, it's so often when I'm journaling, it's just like inside out. Well, that's where I am.
do you see that, see the word enter?
Enter, inside out. Oh yes, enter, the vertical.
Okay, so that little element to the left of it, that's what looks like almost like a nail, kind of upside down, and those little flashes, that vertical element I love and I use a lot on its own.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't know why, I just really, really like that.
That is so cool. I like this one too. And for me, this stencil, this was a long time ago too.
Yes.
But it is almost, it's almost like a preview of things to come as far as your work. It's an interesting stencil.
That's a good way to look at it.
It's really interesting. But what I'm going to use for this is this round one that is, I really like this stencil. And I like it because as far as the round, it's a really, it's what I would call a tight stencil, and then it's not hard to use, because sometimes round and loopy things are hard to stencil. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it underneath the paper. Okay, so it's just sitting underneath there, and then I'm going to sit
you
this
have my
down.
attention.
Okay, and then I'm going to use this again, and I'm going to put it on my little scraper, and put it directly on my scraper. Okay, now let me remember where the stencil is. It's right there. All right, now I'm going to sit this down, and I'm going to act like I'm screen printing, except the stencil's underneath, and I'm going to use pressure.
Wow, it's magic. Serious magic.
Is that not cool?
That is amazing.
Love, 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 love. And so because I was using the pressure with this tool, like I just kind of set it down. I'm actually making some linear marks now, which are kind of fun. And then I just drug it. It kind of smooths out in certain places. It grabs the stencil a little bit here and there, but it's not a totally distinct version of it. But look at it. It's the opposite.
No, I absolutely love it. Again, it's one of the things I always say to people is just because a designer made something doesn't mean you have to use it as it was designed or intended to. Make it your own. And this is the perfect way to make it your own. It's like a jelly print pull. Every time you do that dragging, it would be different.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And, I'm just going to tell you, I did not think of that. One of the girls that I work with, I'm a golden educator, and when we had our convention many years ago, she did that with a stencil, and I had never seen anything like it. I was like, oh my gosh, that rocks. So I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So that's a fun thing to do, is put the stencil underneath, and I'm going to wipe this off. I could actually do this on a piece of paper too, which sometimes I do. Let's see if one of these is, this is that one we did before in the very beginning. Look at how this is drying, you guys. You're getting, remember when I said there's some quality similar to distress oxide? Well, that's what happened here on the sides. And look at how cool this is drying down.
It's
right?
Really, it's amazing. It really
I know.
is.
Part of it absorbed, part of it sat on the surface. It's amazing. I love it. So let's get rid of some of this and let's change it. I love it. So let's change it.
Never be attached, people.
No.
Love your layer, cover it up.
Right. So anyway.
And do you notice, I want everyone to make sure you notice that MB just cleaned her stencil, but she's making cleaning fun by cleaning it right on the artwork and getting all these different kind of ghost prints and unique elements. Yeah,
I love that one. I actually like that one better than the one I did originally.
Do too.
I know, right?
Go scrape the one you did on the upper right and make it more wonky. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'm backseat
So,
arting.
can you tell Seth and I have taught before together, because we're both just, okay, do this, do that. Or like the time we taught together and I came back and there was like a new collage bit on my art that he had glued down in my absence.
Why not?
Love that. And it was the perfect addition to it.